Hi, my name's Rocky Robinson. I've been coming to New Life Chiropractic for only a few weeks now. The problems I've been having is I have a very sore back and stiff neck, so my vertebrae don't even move. And within just a few short weeks of coming here, one of the nicest things I just found out, I played golf for the first time in years without any pain, which is a big plus for me. And again, Dr. Tim and the staff have been really great. In a short period of time, I'm already feeling quite a bit better.
Hi, my name is Amy. I'd just like to share a little bit of my experience here with you. Prior to coming here, I suffered from restless nights, severe migraines, and frequent tension headaches. I was invited to an event. I came and checked it out. And before I came, I did some research on chiropractic care during pregnancy because I'm pregnant, and I found that it's very common with pregnant women to get chiropractic care, and all the reviews were really well. All the reviews, they all turned out is very common, and a lot of women did it. So I decided to come in for an examination and to give it a try, because I didn't know anything about chiropractic care. So I thought, considering I can't take any medications because I'm pregnant, this would be, my best bet. So since I've been coming here, I can honestly say I haven't had one headache. I've been sleeping better, and I haven't had any allergies. Now, I wasn't looking into fixing my allergies because I've actually suffered from allergies all my life, so I didn't think like this would have anything to do with my allergies. But since I've been getting treatments, my allergies have been better. I haven't taken any allergy medicine, no headaches, I sleep much better. My experience here has been incredible. Love the people, love the environment, and I just feel that my health has definitely improved. I feel energetic, and I can honestly say that I'm just much happier and stress-free since I've been here.
Hi, my name is Debbie Quick, and I was referred to Dr. Tim by a good friend of mine, Carol. Actually, for 2 years, she's been trying to get me to come to see Dr. Tim. Unfortunately, I felt that chiropractors were kind of a hocus-pocus type thing. They get you in there and tell you something was wrong with you, show you an x-ray, your back's crooked, and then, sell you a bunch of stuff that you weren't going to use. But I was hurting enough that I chose to try Dr. Tim. When I came in, I wasn't sleeping for about 10 years. I get an average 3 hours night sleep. I was on 5 different pain medications for my chronic migraines for the last 10 years. And I had chronic pain in my arm, and I probably used a bowel movement about twice a week. I came in, Dr. Tim, he told me he could fix me, he gave me the hocus pocus story, so I fell for it. And after being here for over a month, I am no longer on migraine medication, headaches. I have not had one since a week after I started seeing him. I am going to the bathroom more than I would like to now. It's 2 or 3 times a day instead of 2 or 3 times a week, which is fine. And I am sleeping through the night, every night. Told my husband, my arm still aches, but it's not, I don't even realize that it's aching because all the other things that have happened in my life are so amazing and positive that I guess the hocus pocus was on me because Dr. Tim was the thing I needed to do.
Hello, my name's Sam. Maximized Living has really transformed my life. In a very short time here, 3 weeks, I had very, very severe back pain. And just 3 weeks later, Dr. Tim and Dr. Catherine here has literally transformed my back. Almost completely no pain, sleeping better, way higher energy, increased sales. It's really kind of transformed my life very quickly. I'm very excited about the future.
So I came to see Dr. Tim and Dr. Catherine because I'm a healthcare provider. I'm a neuromuscular therapist, and it's hard. You work so much, you don't always take care of yourself. I was finding I was having a hard time sleeping, especially on my side, hard to find a position. So I started looking for a chiropractor. I have an experience with chiropractors because my uncle was a chiropractor, but he retired and moved to a different state. So I was looking around, and I came across Dr. Tim and Dr. Catherine. Actually, Dr. Catherine called me, set up an appointment, and I tell you, it's been fantastic. I feel so much better. I can move better. I can play sports better. I can do my job better. I can sleep better. I'm a happier person. So So if you're looking for a good chiropractor and good quality care, I highly recommend Dr. Tim and Maximize Living.
Okay. My name is Shallon Blair, and I started coming to see Dr. Tim because I was suffering from horrible neck and back and hip pain. And I think a lot of that had to do from sitting at a desk for 8 years and having a horrible fall and pregnancy. And I didn't really have that much faith in chiropractic care before because I never really had that much success. But after I started coming here, I feel like a whole new person. My neck has so much more freedom of movement now, and my sleep is so much better, and I can exercise with no pain anymore, and it's just such a wonderful experience. And having x-rays done so I could see my progress is really exciting to me, so I can actually see for myself the proof that it is actually working. And I just think that everybody could benefit from coming to New Life Chiropractic.
You said I'm on a mission. I really am. I want more and more people to understand this concept and utilize it. You know, this is why people don't feel well today. Even if it's as simple as lack of energy, not sleeping well, you know, that it's toxic. We live in a toxic world.
Yeah, awesome. And it is amazing information, and we just know if you're watching, you are special.
You know, I think the best analogy I can give is in most of those 10-day cleanses, it's like the street cleaners that we see on the street.
I remember those.
Yeah, no, so you said remember those because I used that analogy in something I wrote years ago. And I thought to myself, I don't even know if those exist anymore. And literally, I'm not kidding, 2, maybe 3 weeks ago, I saw one.
Really?
And sure enough, it's true to form. The brushes are going, and dust is flying everywhere, right? Where's it landing? Everywhere, right? So, you know, I don't know how much ends up in the machine, but that's my analogy with most of these cleanses that are on the market is it's stirring it up, you know, and at best it doesn't work. But the problem is when you stir up toxins, many of them land in bad places, like the brain or nerve tissue. So you actually can get worse from many of those cleanses. And believe me, like you, I've done many of those cleanses trying to get my life back, you know, and it didn't work. Detox, if you just get the cell working, the cell has so many functions that remove toxins from the body. And to him, he was like, well, that's what real detox is. I was like, he made my point for me so well.
Perfect. Let it work by design.
Absolutely, right? And it's true because this cell has things in it like glutathione, methylation pathways, even the cell membrane. All of those things are really what the cell does to get rid of toxins. And when that's working, that's real detox. The problem is we're, you know, bombarded with so many different stressors today, you know, chemical, physical, and emotional. Once these cellular pathways are not functioning, now we start accumulating toxins in the cell. And I said earlier, that's when the DNA starts getting triggered, and we start triggering genes of susceptibility, you know, whether it's any symptom you don't like. But really, the magic is at the cell. Our number one is removing the source. Now, that could mean, obviously, from the body that's bioaccumulated for 30, 40 years, or even from your lifestyle. Our number two is regenerating this cell membrane, which, by the way, is what allows all the good stuff in the bad stuff out. Our number three is restoring cellular energy. And one thing, you know, that, you know, these doctors understand is oftentimes the first thing we have to do with someone who's sick and challenged is get the cellular energy up. So we have to restore that.
Makes sense.
And our number 4, I think, is the obvious, and that's reducing inflammation. I think most people watching this, you've heard inflammation is the cause of, you know, they go down the list: cancer, diabetes, you know, and chronic fatigue. We can name it. You know, even the inability to lose weight, hormone problems, you know, and that's inflammation. Our number 5 is reestablishing methylation. And most of you may not have heard that word, but know this. It's needed in just about every pathway. So 3 components in review. Number 1 is we have to get all the way up to the cell for it to be real detox, true detox. Number 2, we have to open up these pathways, get the cellular pathways moving, but the downstream pathways. And then number 3, and where most go wrong, is they don't utilize true binders. When you look at the phases, there's a preparatory phase, there's a body phase, and there's a brain phase. And one of the things was prepare downstream detox pathways, but we don't want to just jump into detox, which is oftentimes a big mistake. Kidneys.
Yep.
You know, I can tell you this, that's oftentimes a place where people go wrong. Things like heavy metals, they get moved through the kidneys. These are all physician-grade products. You know, that means a lot. So you're in the right office because, you know, obviously you can't buy these products in a health food store or, you know, somewhere else just online.
Right,
So,
right.
I mean, these are physician-grade products. I mean, if you looked in my cabinet at home, you're going to open up, or your doctor's cabinet, you're going to see these products. I am literally myself at this laboratory often, and I watch how every product that comes in, they test with the highest parameters of testing. And I think that's a big benefit of these types of physician-grade products. The liver is a huge, huge detox pathway. And when many people are detoxing and get symptoms, they are backing up in the liver. You know, the liver is very important. Changing gene expression, allowing the good stuff in, the bad stuff out. Literally, I mean, you could do a whole course on fixing the cell membrane, and really that being part of true cellular detox. Because if you can't get the good stuff in and the bad stuff out, you're in trouble right off the bat. Called omega-3 dominance, which actually can cause more brain problems. It can cause, you know, things like lack of sleep and, you know, just anxiety, low-grade anxiety. I've pulled the products out of your package that represent the beginning of detoxification. In the body phase, we are starting the detoxification to clear out the body, but it wasn't until I started a brain phase that I saw things majorly change, you know, where I could literally sleep through almost all of my nights. It's really where it causes all the hormonal problems, is it's in the pituitary hypothalamus, which happens to be the center of your brain, which is what controls your thyroid, which controls your adrenals. exchange your grains. You know,
Yes.
what we mean by that is I think most people watching this have heard gluten.
Oh, yeah. Gluten-free. Everyone's going gluten-free.
Gluten-free.
Yep.
I've written many articles about it's not just gluten. Genetically modified organisms are a lot of grains today. Just about every corn thing that you find in the store, whether it's a chip, you know, potato chip, corn flake, whatever it is, it's GMO. You know, no doubt about it. If it doesn't say 100% organic, it's GMO. Glyphosate is the chemical in Roundup. It's the #1 pesticide herbicide used on the planet. And they genetically modify so they can spray more. So the problem is this. We are ingesting more of this dangerous chemical, showing that it does cause leaky gut. It disrupts bacteria in our gut that we need to make normal brain chemicals. So our studies are showing how it affects the brain, diabetes, I mean the list goes on, even heart disease. They're spraying it with that chemical, glyphosate, to actually harvest it because it increases the harvest yields. So they're spraying it on before harvest. It's called desiccation. It shrivels up and it actually increases the yield and makes harvest easier. So therefore we're being exposed to very dangerous levels of this chemical. We have those grains for you. So go from regular grains to these, what I like to refer to as more ancient grains. They haven't been genetically modified. They haven't been changed.
Exchange your sugars. So we're getting rid of refined sugars and artificial sweeteners and adding in healthier sweetener options.
Most health food stores, by the way, sell pure stevia extract now. So that exchange is really easy.
Very easy.
Drink coffee, we do, but it's very little, maybe 1 cup in the morning. And you can tell them what we put in that, but we do very little, and we use stevia. And we use organic coffee because coffee does carry a lot of toxins. I believe coffee is actually super high antioxidant, one of the highest.
A lot of coffees out there are covered in mycotoxins and mold, and that is a huge issue with a lot of coffee out there too. So there's good coffee and there's bad coffee.
Can I drink wine? Can I drink alcohol?
That's a good question.
Let's
Well,
just hit all
you
these
are
hard things
detoxing.
right now. I know you guys are thinking that. I know you're thinking that.
Wondering about the coffee, wondering about the wine. Yes. So the oils we're talking about are the bad oils, the bad fats, and these are toxic vegetable oils, mostly corn, canola, soybean oil, that create a lot of cellular inflammation. Once again, goes back to the inflammation.
Fat attracts fat.
Exactly.
More people die of heart disease or heart attacks with normal cholesterol and low cholesterol than high. This may be somebody who just says, you know, I'm an athlete, I'm someone that's in shape, healthy now, and I want to take it to the next level.
First, advanced strategies, intermittent fasting.
Years ago, I had a lot of experience in just water fasting, and look, there's beauty in it, and there's major healing. An intermittent fast is where you bring calories down to maybe 500 to 800 calories for a specific time, so we call it daily intermittent fasting. They've been told, we've been told, breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Let's take it a step further. Not only is it the most important meal of the day, but it should be your what? Biggest or smallest meal of the day?
Biggest.
So
yeah.
you're
Breakfast
saying,
is king, right?
yeah, all right, and you're saying you don't eat breakfast, and you look that way, I'm saying I don't eat breakfast. You know, having a little bit of organic coffee, which we talked about, right? You know, with a little bit of butter or MCT oil.
Ketosis or keto adaptation. So I'm not sure if the audience has heard much about the ketosis, the ketogenic diet, keto adaptation.
If you eat too much protein, the problem is it converts to sugar. And too much protein anyway, many studies show, it really ages you very fast, right? So we don't want to eat too much protein.
High fat, moderate protein, low carbohydrate.
But we have to get their carbohydrate intake under 50 grams a day. 2 tablespoons of grass-fed butter a day. Remember, butter's not bad. That was a 180 I gave you.
Yep.
2 tablespoons of coconut oil, which you said earlier helps you become a fat burner.
Right, because of the medium chain triglycerides in it.
Now, this one may seem a little odd. It's 2 teaspoons, not tablespoons, of sea salt.
Something called diet variation.
And
let's explain that.
Right, exactly. And this strategy means we vary the diet by doing 1 day a week of high carbohydrate, healthy carbohydrates.
Carb loading.
Carb load. So you're going to ask me, how often do I have to test? And really, testing is really kind of fun in the beginning. Right when you get it, you want to do it.
If you push this down, that loads it up, right? And then you just twist and pop this off. Okay?
Okay. But, you know, when that starts to drip, then you know to put the blood on the end. You'll see. 0.5.
Nice.
Yeah. So
I'm in ketosis.
Hey, all right.
I just made it.
This is a concept that really I want you all to understand. We have to fix the cell to get well, and I've made that point many times. So imagine if I blocked that hormone from getting its message in the cell. What would happen? Well, you wouldn't be able to lose weight despite what you eat, despite how much exercise you do. By taking more of this hormone or that, estrogen, testosterone, yes, it works in the beginning. Your genes, and turn on bad genes, even obesity genes. There was a great study, Stanford University study, where they took certain toxins and they exposed it to identical twin mice, and they turned on the obesity gene in the mice. Didn't matter what they ate, didn't matter how much they exercised, those mice would not lose weight no matter what. Sound familiar? This cell is not detoxifying. Now the toxins are building up, driving inflammation, turning on bad genes, dropping your cellular energy. And you said, doesn't matter how much I exercise, doesn't matter how I eat, I can't lose it. It's getting worse.
I can't lose it, and I don't feel well. And on a cellular level, it made so much sense to me when I was listening to what you were saying, because it finally brought things full circle for me as to why I can't feel better. So I started with traditional medicine, and I was seeing, you know, great physicians, but they were not helping me, and they wanted to treat symptoms, and I knew there was a deeper problem. This is what I saw that changed my life in this moment.
We bring them into the cell.
When I was told I have a disease, it was like mentally, I'm like...
They told you you had a disease forever, they told you.
Yes, I will have to take this medication forever.
All these things that we do, getting rid of the toxins, getting rid of the stressors, this is what you need. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And the meta-oxy test actually shows cellular inflammation. This test is very important. As a matter of fact, its studies show that it's 50 times more accurate than a blood test. You want to be between 1 and 2, and that's showing a normal amount of cellular oxidation. Most tests that people spend a lot of money on, it's really not showing cause. You know, this test does, and we've talked about inflammation being the cause of so many things, from, you know, cancer to diabetes to thyroid issues, and even why people can't lose weight. We see it move down into here. We know that this membrane is becoming more fluid. We know that this membrane is now allowing things to come in and bad stuff to come out. These exercises really make a difference.
We're gonna start in mountain pose. So you put your feet together and your hands are by your side, and you wanna roll your shoulders back. Now inhale, flat back. Raise up and flat back. That's it. Now exhale, collapse everything down.
I used to specialize in structural correction.
So what we're going to do is, and again, you can do this on your mattress or on the floor.
You can literally take your pulse and feel everything.
Dropping.
Yeah, dropping.
And
That's
stabilizing.
pretty, yeah, and stabilizing.
And then we're going to show you how to do it in a seated position. This is called bow pose.
Bow pose, got it.
Bow pose. So should I demonstrate this one first?
Absolutely, yeah.
And then we're going to have you do it. That's the beauty of the poses, is you can do one pose, you can do all of the poses, you can mix and match them based on how you feel. They're all going to serve a purpose and they're all going to work.
So let's show you
love
some
that.
really cool stuff that you can do at home that is really, really easy, but you know, according to studies, it works better for detox. It's moving out stuff that's probably been there for a long time. That's how effective this is.
Dr. Pompa, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Could you do this at your office, at work?
Anytime. So go, move your arms, get your arms up. Yeah, either forward, I like that. She's doing something that, the point is it's upper body, lower body, which makes your heart beat. So now we're working the shoulders, the biceps. Of course, you're working your glutes. And
Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Squat jump. 2. And burpee down.
so this actually lowers cortisol, you know, raises growth hormone, which we need to recover, reduce inflammation. So look, it works. The studies show that it works, but the problem now is you actually have to do it. So alpha-lipoic acid is a fat-soluble binder. It also creates energy in the cell. It's also an antioxidant. Well, raising glutathione at the cell, it can push the toxins out, but eventually they make your way to the liver, and eventually they make your way to the gut. This product is made to keep retoxification or autointoxication from occurring. They brought me in to speak about health and health issues, and they loved this stuff, and it was from a tree with this fruit about this big, and it had all these little seeds in it, and they were surrounded by this stuff, and we started sucking on this thing. It was a baobab tree. So there's some really amazing binders in here, and it binds organic and inorganic toxins. Well, I said there's 3 components to true cellular detox. Number 3 was using true binders. Look, this is where most people go wrong. This is groundbreaking in cellular detox. It's a true binder that holds so strongly on to the toxins that it brings it all the way out of the body. And I'll tell you, there's nothing more safe than what's in nature. Safe, effective, true binder, gets into the cell, gets into the brain. This product, or the ingredients in this product, were really developed to not just raise cellular energy, but they do it by duplicating the factories, the mitochondria, that make energy. G-Cell is a very, very important product. As a matter of fact, I was part of developing this product, and it's a 3rd generation product. There are some very special ingredients in this product. No doubt, liver and kidney play a huge role in getting rid of toxins downstream. When the liver backs up or the kidneys back up, we experience symptoms that we don't like. Thousands of doctors around the world use these products. As a matter of fact, this liver product is very famous because it's used by very, very famous doctors. It works. We need minerals. We add minerals in the brain phase because I explained that when we're pulling toxins away, we can create mineral gaps. Methylation is really important. As a matter of fact, it's really a part of most cellular functions that we see malfunctioning today. It's a part of detox, it's a part of the cell membrane, it's a part of the energy pathways, and it does protect our DNA, and it also can turn off those bad genes. So putting those methyl donors or groups back in is vital for detoxification, really vital for survival. Building out a product like ROX, R-O-X, obviously has what we know is major ingredients that are known, studies show, that reduce inflammation. Powerhouse anti-inflammatory product. And one of the things that this product was built around is this specific 4-to-1 ratio that studies show is the target ratio to help fix that cell membrane. I'll tell you, you've never looked at a list of ingredients that are more complete than this.
Most orthotics, especially over-the-counter inserts, are designed to only support one arch on each foot. Such generic products often overcorrect that arch, causing more harm than good and shifting pain and discomfort from one area of the body to another. Furthermore, over-the-counter products may not be very durable and may result in more costs due to frequent replacement. Unlike those cheap, over-the-counter inserts, Foot Leveler's functional orthotics support all 3 arches of the foot, something we call the 3-arch advantage. This helps hold the adjustments your doctor performs, as well as helps bring your entire body into alignment, a key factor in maintaining good health. Just as everyone has a unique personality, everyone has a unique body structure and foot shape. The benefit of using custom-made orthotics rather than generic mass-produced ones is that they're perfectly fitted to you. Your health is paramount. Wearing custom-made orthotics will ensure that you stay at the pinnacle of performance for the longest possible time. Our orthotics optimize the body by providing momentum for movement, permitting flexibility to accommodate changes in terrain, giving strength to support the weight of the entire body. Did you know there are actually 3 arches in the foot? Most people know about the medial arch. But have you ever heard of the lateral arch or the anterior transverse arch? Over-the-counter inserts address only one of those 3 arches, and in doing so can actually create more harm than good. Overcorrection of one arch, which often comes from treating the symptom, not the cause, can create more problems throughout your body. That's why our founder, Dr. Monty H. Greenwald, knew how vital it is to address all 3 arches, which helps alleviate pain and injury throughout the body. Here's another quick quiz for you. How many bones are in the foot? How many joints? How many muscles, tendons, and ligaments? Here are the answers. There are 26 bones, 33 joints, and over 100 muscles, tendons, and ligaments in your foot. There's no way correction of only one arch can keep those 26 bones, 33 joints, and 100 muscles, tendons, and ligaments functioning properly. So we're talking a lot about the feet and how our functional orthotics address the 3 arches. And you're asking, how does that impact my low back pain, my headaches? How are these orthotics going to help me perform better? Well, your feet are the foundation of your body. If your feet are out of balance, the rest of your body is sure to be off balance. Believe it or not, your low back pain could actually be a result of something going on with your feet. It's your inherent nature to always keep your eyes level. If your feet are off balance, think of all the things that must happen between your feet and eyes to make that happen. Your ankle will roll. Your knee will bend in. Your hip will dip. And even your neck will crook to the side. That's a lot of strain on your bones, muscles, joints, ligaments, and tendons. Foot Leveler's functional orthotics help take all that strain off of your body, which in turn helps you feel better and perform at a higher level. That's the why. What about the how? After examining your feet on your initial visit, there are a couple of ways your doctor can get a cast of your feet. The first is with a traditional foam casting kit, which Foot Levelers invented many years ago. 2 quick steps into this proprietary foam, and we have a detailed cast of your feet to build your orthotics. The second is our technologically advanced digital imaging device, the 3D Body View. This device captures a very high-quality image of your foot, and from that image, we're able to build your orthotics. That's the how. What about the what? We've built orthotics based on what you need. Our orthotic selection is very easy. Answer this quick question. What activity or activities do you do most every day? For around-the-clock support, our #1 recommendation is for our InMotion, our most popular functional orthotic. If you're on your feet all day, try one of our comfort orthotics. In the office all day, a luxury orthotic is perfect for you. If you're an athlete, an active orthotic or our XP3 is ideal. If you wear boots or industrial shoes, a tough orthotic is the durable option. We even make orthotics that fit into tight-fitting dress shoes. And because we're so confident in our products, we offer a 1-year money-back guarantee on all of our orthotics. Want one-stop orthotic and shoe shopping? You can get major shoe brands including Brooks, Clark's, and Merrill with the orthotic already included. And we've just recently introduced our custom orthotic flip-flops, a flip-flop with our custom orthotics built right in. Those flimsy, cheap, flat flip-flops you get at the local supercenter can destroy your feet and do tremendous damage to your body. you now have an option that can actually help your feet and body. Ask your doctor about any of our orthotics and how they can help you. That's the what. What about the what else? Did you know you can throw your body out of alignment even when you're sleeping? That's why we offer several support pillows. Our 4-in-1 Pillowpedic is great for back and side sleepers. The MyFit and Exclusively Yours custom pillows use easy measurements to create a pillow just for you. Our full line of rehab equipment focuses on your entire body with exercises to help you work your way back from injury. With exercises for the neck, upper and lower body, our rehab units are easy to use for daily treatment. By incorporating foot levelers into your healthcare protocols today, we guarantee you'll see your total body wellness improve and your performance reach new heights. Ask your doctor today about getting started with foot levelers.
Weight loss resistance and hormone problems have become a new epidemic in today's society. And look, in the past videos, I talked a little bit about this in indicating that it's cellular inflammation caused by toxins, and true cellular detox as being the ultimate answer. But, you know, I think this subject is so important that I wanted to bring it back to the board, because remember I said everything that's really important I want you to get to understand really well. Draw with me at home, please, because this is a concept that really I want you all to understand, because this is really the answer for why so many people don't feel well. So look, I'm going to bring you into the cell. That's a pretty darn good circle, so you might not nail it as good as I did at home. But anyways, okay, so that's a cell. You know, so when I talk about the inability to lose weight, or I talk about hormone problems, I said earlier in one of the other videos that, look, it's not about giving more hormones, although that seems to be the going answer today. It's not about that at all. We have to fix the cell to get well, and I've made that point many times, and we truly have to detox the cell to get well. So when you look at the cell, I talked about every cell has thousands, millions perhaps, of these receptors. Even to absorb a vitamin, like vitamin D, it has to attach to a receptor on the cell. So the cell is where the magic happens. But I said that this resistance to hormones is really the big problem and the big epidemic. So if these are receptors to hormones, and we're going to use thyroid hormone as an example, I'm going to use insulin as an example, because type 2 diabetes and thyroid problems are very, very big problems today and growing problems, and both actually cause weight loss resistance, you know, in themselves. There's another hormone that I do want to discuss called leptin. That hormone is the hormone that actually tells your brain to burn your stored fat for energy. So it sounds like a pretty important hormone that you want to know about, I think, right? Okay, so these hormones, when they come in contact with these receptors, they bring a message into the cell. Matter of fact, they bring a message into where your DNA is, And then that nucleus in the DNA actually starts to make other hormones, other chemicals that we need to feel well. So when thyroid hormone connects with the cell, brings its message in the cell, you have good energy. You're an efficient fat burner, you feel good. When it's not, you don't feel so good. Believe me, many people experience this. And again, what is the solution today? Typically, we're giving more thyroid hormone. But again, when the thyroid hormone cannot connect its message into the cell, that's the real problem. Same is said for insulin. Type 2 diabetes, we know that it's not a problem with needing more insulin. They have plenty of insulin. The problem is the cell can't hear the insulin, and therefore then people are not getting enough glucose in the cell, and therefore their energy drops, they don't feel well, a lot of bad things happen, right? Same with leptin. Leptin is the hormone that tells your brain to utilize its fat. So imagine if I blocked that hormone from getting its message in the cell. What would happen? Well, you wouldn't be able to lose weight despite what you eat, despite how much exercise you do. That sounds like a problem. Well, this is a growing problem. So here is the real problem. Cellular inflammation. What happens is we hear all the things about inflammation is the cause of diabetes. The inflammation is the cause of thyroid problems, cancer, go on and on. Inflammation's at the root. And I said it before, we're not talking about a sore shoulder or a sore knee, although that is inflammation. We're talking about systemic inflammation in the cells of your body. That's the epidemic, that's the problem. So this inflammation in particular is on this membrane, and it blunts or blocks these receptors. So now the cell cannot hear the message from thyroid hormone, from insulin, or from leptin. Look, it's not about giving more hormones. I'm going to give you a great analogy that I hope you can understand. If you have kids, you'll definitely understand it. So when we shout at our kids, right, it works in the beginning. Well, so does giving hormones. So by taking more thyroid hormone, by taking more of this hormone or that, estrogen, testosterone, yes, it works in the beginning. It gets the message across. But what happens when we continue shouting at our kids? They stop listening, right? Or they become less and less sensitive, to what you're saying. So that doesn't work. Matter of fact, you hear good books tell you, start whispering at your kids and watch what happens. Well, the same message here. We keep giving hormones, the cell literally becomes more deaf to the hormones. It's not a long-term answer. So ultimately what we have to do to get our kids to listen, in this case ourselves, is we have to reduce the inflammation. And folks, look, I give 3 major causes of inflammation. Obviously, glucose. You have to control glucose. That's why we want you to exchange your grains for others or get rid of them completely. We have to get rid of refined sugars, right? We have to get rid of all the sugars that we're eating, all these sweeteners that are in everything, because all of it drives inflammation. We talked about that. And even the bad fats, that drives inflammation. We talked about vegetable oils and how those are the bad fats. It's not the cholesterol and the saturated fat. I'm going to talk about that more in a minute. But also, the biggest one of all, and the hidden one, is toxins. Like no time ever in the history of man have we been exposed to the type of toxins that drive cellular inflammation more than now. We talked about glyphosate is the #1 herbicide used. It's ubiquitous in our society because it's in all of the foods that we're eating. And it causes leaky gut, but it's driving cellular inflammation. I talked a little bit about my story, how my silver fillings that contained 50% mercury drove inflammation in my brain and my cells and my brain cells. And ultimately getting rid of that was the answer for me getting my life back. My wife was loaded up with lead that went into my children. So I know a lot about how these toxins can drive inflammation. So there's multiple sources, even our cosmetics, that have BPA, that not only drive cellular inflammation, but we know can change your genes and turn on bad genes, even obesity genes. There was a great study, Stanford University study, where they took certain toxins and they exposed it to identical twin mice, and they turned on the obesity gene in the mice. Didn't matter what they ate, didn't matter how much they exercised, those mice would not lose weight no matter what. Sound familiar? So we know this is when we get rid of the toxin. And by the way, methylation, they use something called methylation to change that DNA back. That's R number 5. If you go all the way back to one of the first videos, R number 5 is reestablishing methylation. But all of the 5 R's, which is the first component of what true cellular detox is, when you fix the cell, you can change that DNA back. and turn off those obesity genes or turn off those genes that are triggered. I always say, look, you know, you're fortunate because you're in an office that understands the 5 Rs. They understand cellular healing. They understand that if you don't fix the cell, you won't get well. There is a gap right now in the scientific literature, in what's happening in the treatment world. And, you know, really, I believe the 5 Rs closes down that gap. In the scientific world, they're talking about, we know that we can turn bad genes on with toxins and express bad things. But it also talks about things that we can do to change that gene expression back. So if you're trying to fix a hormone condition or you're trying to feel better and you don't understand this epigenetic topic that I'm talking about, you know, you're missing the boat. And that's the gap. We know that there's things that can be done to change that DNA back. And now we start expressing a different condition or a different feeling, good or bad. So the 5 Rs, the first component, fixing the cell, really revolves around that. But look, this hormone resistance, this is why people don't feel well. You know, any one of these hormones and many more, when your cell's not hearing them, giving more doesn't work. The idea is we have to reduce the inflammation. The number one way, yes, we want to make those dietary changes, but true cellular detox is the key because we've got to get this cell detox. When we fix this membrane, reduce that inflammation, now we can get the toxins out and we can get the good stuff in that makes you feel better. The hormones can now start to communicate with the cell again. So most people are in this state because they have certain toxins that have bioaccumulated in and around that cell that now are making the hormones not communicate. Do you see that? I hope you do. You know, because really this is how I got my life back. I understood. Remember the 5 Rs, remove the sources. We have to do that, right? That's important. R number 2, regenerate the cell membrane. R number 3, these little mitochondria, these energy factories. This is where we produce the cell energy called ATP. These membranes inflame. We've got to get that down. And again, toxins come in and they start polluting the cell. You know, it's like this. If you burn wood in your house without a chimney, your house fills with smoke, you die, right? Smoke kills more people than flames. The same thing's happening to your cell. This cell is not detoxifying. Now the toxins are building up, driving inflammation, turning on bad genes, dropping your cellular energy. So we have to get rid of these toxins. We start at the cell. We start with the 5 Rs. The products that we have in this program are all designed to fix this cell. Well, they're also designed to open up those detox pathways, but we have to start here. So this cellular energy, that's R3. R4 is reducing this inflammation. I think that's obvious. And R5 is reestablishing methylation, which plays a role in detoxing and protecting that DNA. So look, the bottom line is this. If we don't get rid of the toxins at the cellular level, you're never going to feel better. You know, this is how I got my life back. This is a real solution, and it really works. So I know that that's going to make a difference in your life, and you're lucky to be in the office you're in.
Most orthotics, especially over-the-counter inserts, are designed to only support one arch on each foot. Such generic products often overcorrect that arch, causing more harm than good and shifting pain and discomfort from one area of the body to another. Furthermore, over-the-counter products may not be very durable and may result in more costs due to frequent replacement. Unlike those cheap, over-the-counter inserts, Foot Leveler's functional orthotics support all 3 arches of the foot, something we call the 3-arch advantage. This helps hold the adjustments your doctor performs, as well as helps bring your entire body into alignment, a key factor in maintaining good health. Just as everyone has a unique personality, everyone has a unique body structure and foot shape. The benefit of using custom-made orthotics rather than generic, mass-produced ones is that they're perfectly fitted to you. Your health is paramount. Wearing custom-made orthotics will ensure that you stay at the pinnacle of performance for the longest possible time. Our orthotics optimize the body by providing momentum for movement, permitting flexibility to accommodate changes in terrain, giving strength to support the weight of the entire body. Did you know there are actually 3 arches in the foot? Most people know about the medial arch. But have you ever heard of the lateral arch or the anterior transverse arch? Over-the-counter inserts address only one of those 3 arches, and in doing so can actually create more harm than good. Overcorrection of one arch, which often comes from treating the symptom, not the cause, can create more problems throughout your body. That's why our founder, Dr. Monty H. Greenwald, knew how vital it is to address all three arches, which helps alleviate pain and injury throughout the body. Here's another quick quiz for you. How many bones are in the foot? How many joints? How many muscles, tendons, and ligaments? Here are the answers. There are 26 bones, 33 joints, and over 100 muscles, tendons, and ligaments in your foot. There's no way correction of only one arch can keep those 26 bones, 33 joints, and 100 muscles, tendons, and ligaments functioning properly. So we're talking a lot about the feet and how our functional orthotics address the three arches. And you're asking, how does that impact my low back pain, my headaches? How are these orthotics going to help me perform better? Well, your feet are the foundation of your body. If your feet are out of balance, the rest of your body is sure to be off balance. Believe it or not, your low back pain could actually be a result of something going on with your feet. It's your inherent nature to always keep your eyes level. If your feet are off balance, think of all the things that must happen between your feet and eyes to make that happen. Your ankle will roll. Your knee will bend in. Your hip will dip. And even your neck will crook to the side. That's a lot of strain on your bones, muscles, joints, ligaments, and tendons. Foot Leveler's functional orthotics help take all that strain off of your body, which in turn helps you feel better and perform at a higher level. That's the why. What about the how? After examining your feet on your initial visit, there are a couple of ways your doctor can get a cast of your feet. The first is with a traditional foam casting kit, which Foot Levelers invented many years ago. 2 quick steps into this proprietary foam, and we have a detailed cast of your feet to build your orthotics. The second is our technologically advanced digital imaging device, the 3D Body View. This device captures a very high-quality image of your foot, and from that image, we're able to build your orthotics. That's the how. What about the what? We've built orthotics based on what you need. Our orthotic selection is very easy. Answer this quick question. What activity or activities do you do most every day? For around-the-clock support, our #1 recommendation is for our InMotion, our most popular functional orthotic. If you're on your feet all day, try one of our comfort orthotics. In the office all day, a luxury orthotic is perfect for you. If you're an athlete, an active orthotic or our XP3 is ideal. If you wear boots or industrial shoes, a tough orthotic is the durable option. We even make orthotics that fit into tight-fitting dress shoes. And because we're so confident in our products, we offer a 1-year money-back guarantee on all of our orthotics. Want one-stop orthotic and shoe shopping? You can get major shoe brands including Brooks, Clarks, and Merrill with the orthotic already included. And we've just recently introduced our custom orthotic flip-flops, a flip-flop with our custom orthotics built right in. Those flimsy, cheap, flat flip-flops you get at the local supercenter can destroy your feet and do tremendous damage to your body. You now have an option that can actually help your feet and body. Ask your doctor about any of our orthotics and how they can help you. That's the what. What about the what else? Did you know you can throw your body out of alignment even when you're sleeping? That's why we offer several support pillows. Our 4-in-1 Pillowpedic is great for back and side sleepers. The MyFit and Exclusively Yours custom pillows use easy measurements to create a pillow just for you. Our full line of rehab equipment focuses on your entire body with exercises to help you work your way back from injury. With exercises for the neck, upper and lower body, our rehab units are easy to use for daily treatment. By incorporating Foot Levelers into your healthcare protocols today, we guarantee you'll see your total body wellness improve and your performance reach new heights. Ask your doctor today about getting started with Foot Levelers.
Well, if you've ever asked yourself why I still don't feel well, well, that's why we're here. And let me tell you something. I have to tell you a true story. And I'm here with Sandra, who I went out on the street and found because Sandra is my point. And no, not really. Actually, you sat there. You were watching. We're using you for some other videos, you know, that we were doing. And you sat there and you watched one of my segments. And you sat there and said, oh my gosh, that's me. I was showing how the cell you know, communicates with the, you know, the hormones can't communicate with the cell because of cellular inflammation. And literally, I came off the stage and she was basically like, oh my gosh, that's me.
I was mind blown.
Yeah.
Mind blown at what I was listening to, because so much of what you were talking about is what I am experiencing on a daily basis.
Yeah. Yeah, you made my point. And I kept saying, yeah, of course, your hair is falling out. Of course. And how old are you, Sandra?
I'm 31.
31.
31.
Yeah. Yeah. And let me tell you something, you know, what I had said to you is, after you told my story, and you're going to tell them, I said, this is the epidemic. You know, this is what, you know, you would look at Sandra and say, she's healthy. Matter of fact, Sandra, you're a health coach, right?
I am.
Yeah.
Dance teacher, yoga instructor.
You exercise?
Exercise every day.
You told me your diet, you eat better than most people that I know, right? So you exercise and you said, well, but gosh, I can't lose this weight now that I said, you know.
Correct,
she looks like she doesn't need to lose weight, but believe me, I was there. When I was sick, I put on weight where I knew it was and something was wrong. And you said, doesn't matter how much I exercise, doesn't matter how I eat, I can't lose it. It's getting worse.
I can't lose it, and I don't feel well. And I think that's the biggest thing.
That's the biggest thing.
You know, people, we all look different and we all have different shapes and sizes, and it's less about like what you look like, I believe, and more about what you feel like from the inside out.
Yeah.
And so.
Well, tell them how you feel, because that is what you focused on.
Yes. So a year ago I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's, which is a thyroid disease, and I knew nothing about thyroid problems at the time. I was losing my hair, no energy, foggy brain, unexplained weight gain.
Okay, you see why? I don't remember back on some of those videos, I talked about all those things.
And so it's been a process, and a year later, some things have gotten better, but I still have the disease. I'm still experiencing, you know, weight issues and foggy brain issues, and
your hair's falling out?
My hair, it started growing back and then it stopped again. And so it's just really discouraging, and I deal with people every day trying to help them feel better, and you know, it's a very frustrating process knowing that like I'm taking natural supplements and, you know, doing everything.
What are you taking? Because this is, when she told me what she was taking, I said, of course you are, because this is what everyone's taking. Tell me what you're taking.
I take a thyroid medication, Thyroid, which is a more natural form.
It is a better thyroid, but we'll talk about that. Go ahead.
And I take a multivitamin, a probiotic.
Of course she does. Of course she does.
Biotin, vitamin D3.
Of course she does.
I take supplements for my adrenals.
Of course, she addressed the adrenals. Remember I said I was dressing my thyroid and my adrenals, and a probiotic,
And a
I
probiotic,
bet?
yep.
Probiotic.
I mean, I have about 12 to 15 supplements I take a day.
Did we take up at the fish oil? She's taking fish oil.
Yeah,
I know she's
fish
taking
oil.
fish oil. Of course you are.
Yes.
Yeah. So the point is most people are taking all of those things.
DHEA is another one.
That's
because
fish
my
oil,
testosterone-
basically.
Is that okay?
Yeah. Oh, DHEA. That's the hormone.
Yeah, that's
that
the
helps the
hormone.
hormone. So
Yep.
you're taking hormone cream, thyroid. You're taking fish oil. So she's taking these things that most people are taking. I think the thing that struck you the most is when I drew the cell. I talked about thyroid hormone not getting its message in the cell, and it doesn't matter how much of these things you take. If its message isn't getting in the cell, you're going, oh my God, yeah, that's me.
Yes.
Yeah.
The biggest thing when you were drawing out that example was how you were saying the good can't get in and the bad can't get out.
Right.
And on a cellular level, it made so much sense to me when I was listening to what you were saying, because it finally brought things full circle for me as to why I can't feel better.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, and cellular detox is. I bet you've done a lot of different detoxes.
I have. I have.
I'm telling you, folks, I didn't make this up. She literally was really sitting here. I said I couldn't have found you on the street any better. I would have put out an article, an ad looking for a you. There's so many of you, but here you are. So God is that good. So what type of detox have you done? I'm just curious.
Mostly food-oriented detoxes. So juicing, cleansing,
yeah.
and it's helped. But the problem is the sustainability. It can always. It's almost like a short-term fix to a long-term problem. I mean, I was told that I will have thyroid disease my whole life, and I will have to take thyroid medication my whole life, and that's not something I'm comfortable with.
You know, you didn't probably see this video they have, but I talked about how most of those things are downstream from getting to the cell. And you saw that. I mean, you watched that little clip and you said, oh my gosh, I haven't got to the cell, and that's true. You know, you told them, told me, I'm sorry, before we got on here, about where it all started. You started going to doctors. Tell them that experience, because they've experienced that.
Yes, so I started with traditional medicine, And I was seeing, you know, great physicians, but they were not helping me, and they wanted to treat symptoms, and I knew there was a deeper problem. There was a point in time where I was getting all of these rashes all over my face. Went to the top dermatologists in the city. They said, it's your makeup. And I'm like, there's no way this is my makeup. And I went through this process of basically self-diagnosing myself to realize that, like, when I stopped eating a certain way, those rashes would go away. So then I went on the course of a naturopathic doctor, of whom I love and I've had more success with, but there are still these underlying things.
Right. So, you know, just because I said, oh, that's one of the suggestions we make. You took away gluten, right?
I did.
So you exchanged the grains you were eating. You said I was eating quinoa and brown rice instead of some of the other grains.
Right.
Right.
And I mean, no pasta, white rice, you know, white rice is gone.
And
no
then the
bread.
rashes went away. Just that one shift.
Yes.
At least that went away. Okay. See, folks, I mean, look, diet is a part of this. However, the diet's only a part of this because you can see you still aren't where you should be, obviously.
Correct.
You know, and that's where you said, oh my gosh, no one's ever brought me to the cell. All right, so I want to bring you to the board.
Okay.
I tell them anything that's really important, I bring to the board because I really want you to understand it, and then I want you to we'll kind of just talk about it.
Sure.
I want you to ask me questions because questions you have, they're going to have. So let's go to the board. Okay, Sandra, we're at the board.
Yes.
This is where the magic happens. Actually, this is what you saw first.
This is what I saw that changed my life in this moment.
we bring them into the cell. You know, I mean, this is where it is. I mean, you know, we say that, you know, true detoxification has to occur at the cell. And I have a saying, I don't think you heard it, but if, you know, you won't get well until you fix the cell. And in
I like that.
her case, yeah, exactly. You're not going to get well till you fix the cell. You're not going to get well till you detox the cell. You know, and you've done a lot of things. Matter of fact, I loved it because you did everything that they did, right? I mean, you're taking all the same things. You know, and when I draw the cell, I draw the hormone receptors, you know, and part of this understanding is, you know, we can have hormones, we can take hormones, but the problem is when the hormone can't get its message in the cell, it doesn't matter. You're taking, what you said you're taking Nature-Thyroid?
Nature-Thyroid, yes.
Nature-Thyroid, which is better than most thyroids. It's more of a natural one. However, it doesn't matter because, again, I gave the example that you heard, pouring gasoline on the car, right? It's like, no, you have to get the gas in the car. But when these receptors are blunted because toxins come in, and they literally blunt those receptors, drive inflammation. Now the thyroid can't get its message in the cell. And I want to bring up, for your sake, for her sake, a couple other points. Because I said, you know, this is why people get sick. I'm going to come back to this example in a minute.
Okay.
But I want to bring another example. I'm going to do a really bad job of drawing a stool. Camera guy just said, man, he draws perfect circles, but that one wasn't so good. Now that one's meant to be an oval. Okay, so this is a stool, a three-legged stool, right? Have you ever heard the analogy of a three-legged stool?
No.
Really? Okay, is it just me? No. No, okay, the analogy is this. You're gonna be like, oh, of course. If I take one leg away, what happens to the stool?
Okay, gotcha.
All right, so basically all three legs have to be there for it to be stable. Okay, this is, I think, a great analogy for how you ended up where you are.
Yes.
Okay, and possibly them. So, and also, but it's also the solution too, okay? So, you said Hashimoto's, right?
Yes.
So you have an autoimmune disease, okay? Autoimmune disease. That means your own body's attacking itself.
Correct.
Okay, you got that. So whether it's attacking the thyroid, whether it's attacking the receptor on the cell, whether it's attacking the hormone, multiple places the body can attack. This is actually a massive epidemic. As a matter of fact, most people have autoimmune where their body's creating the cellular inflammation and they don't know it. And they're just not diagnosed until years down the road because the testing is in the Stone Ages for autoimmune. So many people today, I mean, there's estimates that are really scary. 70–80% of the population has some type of autoimmune.
I have a quick question. I was told when I was diagnosed that it could be genetic and that also I'm of Lebanese descent and that Lebanese women are prone to the thyroid.
It's true.
So are these things accurate?
Okay, but here's the thing. You know, first of all, the old dogma was your genes caused your disease. They got this education, you didn't. However, I'm going to give it to you now and it will remind them. Look, we don't get sick because of our genes. I mean, there's some diseases that are strictly genetically driven, right? You know, Down syndrome is being one of them. However, most diseases like that, the gene has to be triggered or turned on. It's called epigenetics.
Okay.
So the gene literally gets turned on the #1 thing that changes genes being turned on is toxins. And I told them about a Stanford University study where they actually took certain toxins, BPA, which most women get exposed to in cosmetics, and it triggered the gene in mice called the agouti gene that caused them to gain weight. And it didn't matter how much they exercised,
Wow.
and it didn't matter what they ate. So that's what's happening today. And by the way, it also changed their coat color. So it affected their thyroid, it affected their skin, it affected their hair. But the point is genes get turned on, and you made my point without even knowing it. So that gene got triggered. That didn't mean that you would get it automatically. It had to be triggered. Does that make sense?
It makes so much sense.
Okay, all right. So one of the legs of the stool is the gene, okay? Gene getting, and I'm just gonna write triggered, okay? The gene gets triggered or turned on, okay?
Okay.
So I'll put DNA up here just so people know that too, okay?
Okay.
Epigenetics gene. So one of the legs of the stool is something gets turned on. So that gene got turned on. But then we have to ask ourselves, go ahead, you had a question.
Did it get turned on by something I was doing to my body?
No doubt, but unknowingly.
Okay.
Meaning that you were exposed to toxins. If your mom had silver fillings, did she have silver fillings?
I'm not sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
but let's say she did. And let's just say mom
She
had
does.
other, okay.
Yeah.
Let's say she had other toxins. In utero, you got that. So you saw me do the bucket. Remember the
did.
bucket, right? And the bucket fills up. Okay, the bucket fills up with toxins from the time we're little. And then eventually we get that one stressor. Warren said he got a whiplash, subluxated his neck, and then boom, he got sick. But he had mercury toxicity because he was cleaning up mines and he was overloaded with mercury. Also, he was living in a house that had mold in it, so he had major sources, and then all of a sudden Warren's bucket overflowed. So here's the point I want to make. Stressors, okay? Stressors, physical, chemical, or emotional, that's really important. Fill the bucket, cause it to overflow. I'm going to make it more scientific. The stressors trigger the gene.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah. So in other words, you did things physically, chemically, and emotionally. A bucket fills, and boom, you turn on a gene. And now you're expressing that thyroid condition. So your genes didn't make you sick. I remember some years ago, Time magazine had a great thing. It said, your DNA is not your destiny. So all these scientists, the old dogma was, you got sick because of your genes. It's just genetic. No, we know that's not true. We know that the gene actually gets turned on or triggered. So your DNA is not your destiny. I've got news for you. Lebanese people aren't weaker. As a matter of fact, I would argue the opposite. This is a tough, beautiful people. Yeah. So the stressors together, typically I call it the perfect storm. So I always draw 3 storms. Do you remember the movie The Perfect Storm?
Yeah,
okay.
Great movie.
What was the guy's name in that? I can't remember.
Well, Mark Wahlberg was in it.
Okay, anyway,
he's one of my favorites.
Okay, so you remember that guy. Anyway, so we have 3 storms that come together that cause the catastrophic storm. George Clooney, that's the one I was thinking of. The catastrophic storm was, if you have 2, it's a bad storm, but when you have 3, it's the perfect storm. That's what happened. That's what happened in my life.
Okay.
Man, when that hit, my life fell apart.
Even the discouraging, when I was told I have a disease, it was like mentally, I'm like...
They told you you had a disease forever, they told you.
Yes, I will have to take this medication forever. I mean, the stress of that, I don't know if that stress can trigger this to be worse, but...
Physical, chemical, emotional. Subluxation in the neck.
Yep.
That's why you're in the office you're in, perhaps. That's one stressor. Add the chemical, add an emotional. So we'll do it this way. We'll do physical, chemical, and emotional.
Makes so much sense.
You know what I see? I discuss this with people all the time, every day almost. Where they're saying, well, this was happening in my life. So when did your chronic fatigue start? Well, honestly, it was after my husband left or my child got sick. Or, they talk about an emotional stressor. Warren said it happened after a whiplash or a physical stressor. They had the chemical stuff bioaccumulating. Their bucket was filling their whole life.
Yep.
But it wasn't until they added one more.
I quit my job and I redirected things, and that's when it started.
Exactly. It was the one more. So was it that? No. I remember years ago they said whiplashes cause, fibromyalgia. Well, many people get whiplashes. They don't get fibromyalgia. No. It's whiplash with the chemicals that have been bioaccumulating.
Yep.
All these other stressors come together. The bottom falls out. But really, scientifically, what happens? The gene gets turned on.
Okay.
And we all have hers is thyroid, but yours may be something else. But once that's triggered, boom. And I've got to tell you, we know science shows that we can turn off that gene, and you didn't see that video, but
I will watch it though.
Oh, yes, you will. My 5 R's is a roadmap to fixing the cell. When you fix the cell, we know that that's able to turn off those bad genes. So your genes can be turned off. As easy as they were turned on, Guess what? In the mice that I talked about when they gave them the toxin, they turned off the gene by giving them something called methyl groups. R number 5, he's reestablishing methylation. Isn't that cool?
It's fascinating to me. What's somewhat frustrating to me is why aren't physicians across the country educated in this type of stuff? Or why aren't we being informed about
That's the mission, and that's the goal. These people are blessed because they are in an office that understands the physical component. They understand the fact that the chemical component, and they're, this is a system that deals with the cause at both at the cellular level. So that's right.
Yes.
And we're going to hope she's going to join us in this mission. I know you are. So, and then there's one more component. You had said, tell them as I get here, the markers that were low. You had blood work done, right?
I did have blood work done, so then a bunch of tests came back, and I had a neurotransmitter test done, which reads all the chemicals in your brain and that your body is making. So my serotonin, all my levels were flatlined. I mean, my doctor thought, like, how is this person not
Serotonin
depressed?
is the one. When they give people depression drugs, they give them something called a serotonin uptake inhibitor. And what that does is it raises, so you don't uptake the serotonin, it raises serotonin. So it makes people feel better, but there's a consequence. Go ahead.
Sure. And so my serotonin levels were less than 5%, epinephrine less than 5%, testosterone less than 5%. All of these things were literally like collapsed.
Yeah.
But
all the feel-good hormones.
All the feel-good
down,
hormones. Yeah. Which is a very conflicting thing for myself because I'm dancing every day and teaching and yoga, and and so my body is like all over the place, and in my brain I'm like, I can't feel sad.
And again, we can just give more serotonin, or ask the question, wait a minute, why is this young lady, beautiful young lady's serotonin low, right? And all the did the doctors ever ask why? Really?
Well, in fairness to who I was working with, she said parts of my body were stealing from other parts to make up for.
No doubt about that, right?
So.
But why though? Why,
right.
Why a 31-year-old girl has all these hormones that are low? Well, we could flip back to the cell. We know why, right? But let me finish this point because it really deals with the serotonin. And this is an epidemic of people in America, honestly, and it's a sad epidemic that's happening. Part of this, why people get sick, this three-legged stool analogy, is what we call the microbiome. I'm not going to write that word, it's a big one, but I'll write gut, okay?
Okay.
In your gut, which is what science now knows is part of what we call microbiome. That's good and bad bacteria. We used to think it was just for digestion. Now we know more. We know that these bacteria actually communicate with our cells in our body and actually make immune cells. It communicates with our cells to actually make serotonin. So you can't make that brain chemical without certain bacteria. Have you ever taken antibiotics as a kid?
Sense. Yes, I was told, so I went through a period of time where I was on antibiotics for an excessive amount of time, and I was told this has contributed. I have an overwhelming amount of yeast in my body, bad bacteria, and so this is all kind of like the perfect storm.
I hate to say it, but of course she does.
Yeah.
Because see, we grew up in this generation that I'm 50, you're 31, so definitely my generation, where they wanted to throw antibiotics at everything.
Everything.
Yeah, and is there a time and is there a place? I think we would argue yes, a time and a place, but every strep throat, every earache, what we've caused is a disruption in the gut, in this microbiome. So now we know that if we lower certain bacteria because we killed them off, even toxins from silver fillings mercury goes down the gut, kills these bacteria. We get a disruption in that. In one of the videos, I talked about a chemical called glyphosate, which is used in like all of our conventional food. They're spraying it to harvest it, they're spraying it to kill weeds and stuff, but glyphosate also kills these bacteria. And when you do, it now interferes with the chemicals your brain needs to function. So when you kill bacteria here, believe it or not, now you can't make the chemicals or the neurotransmitters. You said I had a neurotransmitter test. You got excited. Yeah. So you now don't make those neurotransmitters, those chemicals your brain needs to function. This is a big part of the autoimmune. Follow this.
Okay.
Follow this. Here's the deal.
Stick with us.
Yeah, stick with this. So certain bacteria get destroyed, okay? These bacteria make a certain immune cell called a T regulatory cell. That immune cell's job is to tell your immune system it's okay to back off. That's opposite of autoimmune, right? In other words, her immune system's not getting the message to back off, so it's driving the inflammation process.
Correct.
With these bacteria in the gut, they communicate, they literally make these cells called T regulatory cells. So if you don't have enough of those bacteria, you don't make the T regulatory cells, and your immune system's always in hyperdrive. Now, hers is autoimmune. Yours might be some type of allergy, hay fever, food allergy. And this is an epidemic. Kids allergic to every food, everything on the planet. This microbiome is part of it. And by the way, we know that if we can get these bacteria, not just a regular probiotic, so you're in the right place, we can also turn off those bad genes, you see. So the stressor, certain bacteria being missing can actually trigger genes too. But when we reestablish them, we can also get the immune system to back off. We can turn off certain genes. So you see, this is how you got there.
Right.
This has been disrupted. A regular probiotic is not going to be necessary to fix it. All these things that we do, getting rid of the toxins, getting rid of the stressors, this is what you need. We need to go upstream.
And the fact that there's a cure is what blows my mind.
Well, you know, the body's the only thing that cures, honestly. I mean, I always say, you know, I don't cure anything. The doctors in their office don't cure anything. The body has the ability to do that, right? So there's no supplement, there's no drug that cures. But when we remove the interference, the body does the healing. Doesn't that make sense? Yeah, that makes sense to me. I want to bring you to, I said I was going to bring you back here, and this is my final point, but it's a really important one. And it's because of what we talked about. T3 is the active hormone. Right. Okay, I'm going to draw it this way. T4 is typically the hormones that most people get from their doctor. Okay, so T4 is typically the one. That's the synthroid, the thyroxine. Okay. Well, T4 has to convert to T3. So even the natural one you're taking, it probably has mostly this, maybe a little bit of this. I'm not sure exactly which one you're taking, but the point is this conversion, when that doesn't take place, it doesn't matter how much hormone you're taking. Okay. So the doctors are giving this. Oh, and by the way, here's the bad part. When you take the hormone, your blood work looks better. So you go to, they give you the hormone, and then they measure your blood, and they go, look, it's working. And you're going,
no, I don't feel
any better. Right. Yeah, it's because either the hormone's not getting in the cell, which is part of it. We talked about that. But sometimes the conversion's not working. Okay. So, you know, did your doctor, you know, look at your liver function, because that's where the conversion's made. Even low selenium levels can have to do with that. Methylation that we talked about, R5, has to do with that conversion. So that conversion has to be made. And if you're not making it, you can take all the hormone you want, and your blood work looks normal, you still don't feel well. Very important. So, you know, that's one thing. Now here's another one. You said you had some stress going on? Stress
and foggy brain.
Okay, let's talk about that. So, what happens in times of stress, even if you get the flu, okay, your body will take T3, that's the active hormone that gets in the cell and you make energy from, feel good, okay? It creates something called RT3. Reverse T3 is designed to convert in times of stress, the T3 that makes you have energy, to RT3. RT3 literally blocks the thyroid, the T3. Wow, okay. It blocks it because it has the ability to bind to the same receptor, okay? So the RT3 in times of stress comes in, it gets produced, so it's shunted that way. Instead of making more T3, it makes more RT3. RT3 takes up the receptor and purposely blocks the T3 while you're sick or challenged. Why? Because it wants to conserve energy for healing. So when you get the flu,
that makes sense.
Do you have energy when you have the flu?
No.
A lot of that is this blocking, stopping that hormone, so you can take the energy and use it to battle disease instead of waste. So it puts your butt on the couch. When the flu goes away, you're back up and moving, right? Energy's back. Right. Now RT3 is not being made as much, and now it's moving towards the T3, and now you have energy again. But what if the stress is chronic? Chemically? Right. Emotionally or physically, chronic, you know, meaning that you're always emotionally stressed, or you've bioaccumulated so many toxins that now you're producing too much RT3. I don't know if the RT3 is your issue. It's actually called RT3 dominance, or, you know, where someone's moving, in that direction. Stress can literally cause that chronic stress. You know, it could be the fact that the membrane's inflamed. It's typically a combination, but RT3 dominance, many people have just even due to stress. But I think my point is that, you know, doctors really don't ever ask the question of why. You know, toxic livers, it interferes with that conversion. Toxic cells interfere with the hormone getting in. And people take hormones, their blood work looks better, but they don't feel better. You know, ultimately, it is about detoxing the cell. You know, you're actually getting teary-eyed. Actually.
No, it's because there's like light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
So it's amazing. And
yeah, no, and this is a real message, you know, and you kind of made me get a little emotional, so I can't pull back here, but you know, it is, and that's the passion, you know, that I have, because it's not about taking more hormones, you know, it's not about, you're going to kill me here, I don't even know if I can finish, but it is about getting to the cell, and you know what, you'll get your life back, honestly, when you get to the cell, you know.
Thank you so much.
Every bit of that makes a difference, so there you have it, no doubt about it, so.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Absolutely. So there it is.